Welcome to the Bold Analysis. Thank you very much for your support. I am back in Nairobi after today's in Nakuru, where I had gone to sort out to make sure that Brenda would get some help and medical attention. And I want to thank you for really coming out to support Brenda. She's been one of us. And by the way, I can tell you that if you underestimate the Gen Z protests that have been witnessed for the last 1 week, then maybe you're not in this country. There's significant change, and what the Gen Z protests have actually affected is something that cannot be wished away. Remember, even in 2023, Raila Odinga team, ODM party, Azimio led some protests. And government could not back down. In fact, government went into some called for some pseudo bipartisan talks, then just turned dramatic, and nothing has been affected. But the Gen Z protests have been very critical. So I will give you towards the end of this video, watch to the end. I'm going to give you an update on Brenda's situation so that you can also know where we are so far. And I'm so glad that she's really doing well. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday there were some three critical meetings. For better part of the day, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, met with his deputy Rigathi Gachagua 40 minutes before a cabinet meeting. And the nation actually talking of President's Last Supper with CS before axe falls. That meeting was done between Ruto and Rigathi, just the two of them. And of course, some of them, some people that are close to it, that press are actually saying that it was part of just trying to mend the fences to ensure that they speak in the same language, because due to the protests, and the protesters called out for some few things. They called out opulence, and that opulence is being brought about by runaway corruption. They're also calling on government to stop campaigning in church, or rather to stop the church harambes, and again, the question of overtaxation. Those are the three things. The summation of the complaint were those three. That you are looting, and after looting, you are taking to church in form of harambes, and on the other end, this is just our taxes. You are overtaxing us, but there is no services for us. So the critical meeting number one between Ruto and Rigathi happened. Then after that, William Ruto held a cabinet meeting. And I can tell you it was one of the longest. I was just reading this report. It was one of the longest meetings because it took long. And if you see the dispatch from that cabinet meeting, there was just one aspect. There was just one aspect discussed there. And that was on the Nairobi upgrade program that is supposed to be implemented by the UK, by some UK investors. That is the only project that was discussed, because largely the president took the opportunity to take stock of the state of the nation after weeks of protest. And they are really trying to put up a brave face, with the president confiding that they are going to reduce the cabinet members from 22 to 15. And so some people will have to be shown the door. I will fully analyze about this sometime after the president gives his brief. He's supposed to do a presser in the course of the day before meeting the Gen Zs at 2, or probably after. He's going to do a press briefing. Then from that press briefing, we'll look at that angle. But that is what was leaked out. He actually told them that they are going to reduce the size. We'll interrogate whether the size has been reduced truly, or it is just about to pacify the ground. And some people are supposed to leave. So he took time to comfort And of course, after that, it did not really explain individuals who are going to be, who will be shown the door. But all the 7 names have been leaked out, likes of Moses Kuria, Aliso Home. They're also looking at someone like Alfred Mutua. There is Soipan Tuya. Quite a number that are still there, and we are waiting for that list. Immediately it will be out, especially when the president will make it. But I think it was just, that statement is just preemptive. But what we've been gathering is that meeting became very stormy. And after that, there was another meeting that was done now individually with other cabinet members that the president retreated to, and that was on Thursday night. The Thursday night meeting, the president wanted to reconcile some members of the cabinet that, of course, are supposed to leave and feel aggrieved, because we understand very well. I think whatever is supposed to be done, or this cabinet reshuffle that is to be done, is done. It's been long overdue. But because William Ruto has been captured, is a captive of friends and political cronies and other factors on table, I know he's not been able to effect it. And I've said that the president have to blame himself. He brought himself into this, because just a month before this protest, MPs were trying to impeach Agriculture CS Mithika Linturi. And Mithika Linturi was saved by just the Statehouse mandarins. So not that the opposition have been trying to do, the media have been exposing, right within some ministries. The Ministry of Health has been really in the radar for some time. And even after coming up with reforms under Chief, stories that are coming out of corruption within those departments are still there. The Ministry of Education has not yet kicked out, fully implemented the CBC, and that CBC is in tatters. So we are here not by coincidence. That's one thing I need to say. The President Ruto must understand we are not here by coincidence, and that is why he will really struggle to convince the members of cabinet that are going to leave at this critical, that are now leaving at this critical time. I want us to look at that keenly, because there are those demands and ultimatums that those who are leaving are also putting to the president. Remember, your life doesn't end at being a cabinet secretary. There are leaders like Aisha Jumwa, who was eyeing a governor post in Kilifi, and have made some, had to move from ODM so that will come and join government on this side, come to join UDA that side, and defied all the odds to stick with the president. There are people like the government spokesperson. By the way, if there are people that should also be fired, apart from the cabinet, and we'll come to that list, but I'll also give you a proposed list of people who must also be shown the door after that cabinet. Is that also of spokesperson? People who had to insult. There are some people that are in Kenya Kwanza, not because of very substantive votes, but because how loud they were insulting former President Uhuru Kenyatta, including even the Deputy President. So let's look at these 5 demands that the members of the cabinet are putting to the cabinet, the people that are leaving the cabinet are putting to President Ruto. And that is why I can tell you, the president is facing the hardest, one of the most difficult spell in Kenya Kwanza. In fact, the last 2 years, we might have thought, because the last 2 years have been comfort. People have been in comfort. The president goes, speaks staff, organizes, meetings, annual cabinet retreat, and puts up structure, and members of cabinet are try to act as if they're working so hard. But the next 2 years, between now 2024 to 2027, is the most difficult spell, and especially even after this cabinet retreat. Let's look at that. Number one, some of the cabinet members that are leaving, or rather that are facing this sack, are seeking redeployment. Even as ambassadors. That is something. And I listened to President Ruto when President Ruto was talking during the presidential roundtable with the three media houses, the Nation, the Standard, Nation, and the City, and the RMS. And the president said that he was saying the reason why he did not sack, is not sacked some members here, is that during Uhuru Kenyatta era, they used to sack, and after sacking, the judicial process goes on, and probably not being able to, the judicial process goes on, and then not being able even to prosecute some people that were facing corruption charges, and then they are forced now to employ them as ambassadors. The truth of the matter here is that the whole cabinet, I think 30% of Ruto's cabinet have been having issues of incompetence. The incompetence bit has been there. But there are people that cannot have a political lifeline outside civil service, out like public service. They cannot have a political line. You know, there are people like Moses Kuria that will live there and consider even going to vie back as an MP or as a senator in Kiambu, or seeking a governorship in Kiambu, or seeking an elective seat somewhere. But I can tell you, when they leave, those who can leave, go to World Bank, trying looking for other opportunities even outside the country. But there are those who will remain politically active, because then they have to resuscitate their political career after their career in the public service collapse. So one of the things is that you sack us, then redeploy. And if you redeploy, you know, there are ambassadors that are, their tenures are coming here and there. Even as we talk about ambassadors, some people also say that there are some countries that we have, you know, we're establishing foreign missions there, but there is nothing, no trade between the two countries. So the next frontier should also be there. Now the second bit, the second other issue emerging is mudslinging of the axed cabinet members, not to be branded as the faces of regime collapse. Let me tell you, immediately Ruto will give that list. Immediately that list is out, these cabinet members that are going to leave will be in the headlines. And the newspaper headline will run on how the fellows that have been removed, because what the public or what the Gen Zs were complaining about is there are members of the cabinet that are working with the President Ruto that are incompetent. And they've been asking the president that you need to sack them. Now, if you are sacked after the protest, how do members of the public see you? The members of the public will say that probably it is so and so that has been weak. And in fact, the country is watching. I am really watching to who president is going to sack and who the president is going to maintain. I am really watching that because there are so many other factors that are on table. So immediately that list will be out. Expect some in-depth analysis so that I'll explain to you what exactly the president has considered. Has the president considered the Gen Z issue, outcry on corruption and incompetence, or other factors that has been considered? So immediately that list is out. We are just seeing, as I'm just shooting this, the press briefing is yet to start. So immediately start, at the end of it, I'm going to tell you what exactly is needed and why so and so are also in it. The other second thing, and they're also demanding, is hitting the campaign trail. Hitting the campaign trail, seeking elective seats. That if we leave, then we also have life outside being cabinet members. We'll have to rethink and not necessarily be members of UDA party. We can move to other parties, or we can form our parties and seek elective seats. And what they will do is taking credit. In fact, what I can tell you here is, if the government, if the narrative will profile them as faces of collapse of government, then the only thing they will be remained with will be to tell the government that, look here, you might have called me as the faces of this, but I'm also going to tell the country what I have done in that ministry and what so and so is doing. So they are going to put that as part of the other condition. And one of the things is, if William Ruto is coming to Gen Z, is going to come in public and say, you know, I've had incompetence, this and this, and so I've sacked this and this because of incompetence, it's going to be a bit of this. Number 3, the other aspect that is also demanded is reshuffle in other arms, such as parliament, as austerity measures continue. You cannot reduce cabinet and remove faces within the cabinet that probably you could see as complacent or incompetent, but you leave parliament. So even in parliament, if there are parliamentary leadership also has to be reshuffled, so that is seen as an overhaul, because government is not only executive. Government is executive and legislature and judiciary. And judiciary is an independent arm. Even parliament is supposed to be independent. But if the purge is to be done, then the purge has to cut across both the cabinet or both the executive and the other part of the legislature. So ladies and gentlemen, that is a bit of it. And I can tell you that how Ruto is going to handle these removals is going to have a big impact on leakage of critical dossiers. If you handle, there are many dossiers, and I can tell you we have interesting times, because members of cabinet that have been with William Ruto and will feel that they have dossiers if things don't go their way, now they will be willing to speak out in public. So that's my take. Let's wait and listen to what the president is going to put up to the country. Remember, there is also a meeting with Gen Zs, and I'm leaving you with a progress report from Brenda. Yeah, with Brenda taken to the hospital, and this is what transpired in Nakuru.
Hi guys, so we're in free area, Nakuru. Yeah, so we're with Brenda. It's quite a long day. Brenda, first, on behalf of the Gen X that are members of this, and also me, we want to say Pole. I was told that there are things that our parents and I probably did not do, and that is why your team is actually fighting for us. And it's very heartwarming kwamba even at the end of it, you could still stay Albuta Continua. Brenda, what happened? Ilikuwa aje hiyo siku?
So tulikuwa tumetoka, so maandamano ilikuwa within town. So watu wakatoka town, walikuwa wanapita like the whole town places. So wakakuja hivi side za Statehouse. So si wakasimama, then there's a field in opposite Statehouse. Side ya chini, so people were there, they were like,
ilikuwa field outside Statehouse?
Opposite Statehouse. Kuna highway imepita, then Statehouse side ya chini kuna ka field. So we were there, like a lot of us with flags nini. So obviously we were fighting for the finance bill to be dropped. Then they opened fire, wakaanza kushatia gas, then they opened fire. When they opened fire, wakati nilikuwa nakimbia for my life, nikagonga, kama niligonga mawe, then nikaanguka. Then nikaangukia tena mawe wengine.
Okay.
Then nika dislocate the hip joint. Then sasa watu venye walikuwa wanakimbia, so watu wana kukanyaga wakienda hivyo.
Na uwezi amka?
Hapana, sikuwa naweza simama. Yeah, so that's basically what happened. So ikabidi nimelala hapo hadi like watu wote wametoroka, then the police wakaenda, then somebody mwenye alikuwa anapita ndio nikaita mtu pikipiki akanipa nini.
But the police didn't care kwamba mtu ako chini and they...
No, they didn't.
Well, sana on behalf of us. So guys, that is what happened to Brenda. So we've had a long day. We had to the hospital. The X-ray has been done, and we may find out that dislocated hip joint. So he's been put under medication. Wamesema after what they have done, sasa watafanya physiotherapy. Then after physiotherapy, there are also some other medicines that sasa itabidi ununue so that you take.
Yeah.
And we really thank you guys because the Brenda case was very emotive. Kwamba now that tulikuwa mlikuwa wasichana wengi sana pale.
Tulikuwa wasichana wengi.
And Brenda, tell us, where do you think mademu walitokea this time?
Najua watu wamechoka because sisi tuko hapa jobless na sisi tumemaliza shule.
Wewe umemaliza?
So people are there. They're like tumemaliza shule, we don't have jobs, kazi ni kukaa kwa nyumba. Nobody wants to employ us.
What did you study?
Veterinary medicine.
Veterinary medicine, eh? So guys, nani alifanya veterinary medicine? So veterinary medicine ni inadili na ng'ombe, agricultural, that should be Egerton, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Egerton inadili na hiyo. So we want to thank you guys. So what we'll do a cash transfer so that itakusaidia make sure umemeza hizo madawa as they said, and you know we also attend to the physios. It will take some time, but you'll be updating us of the progress. Sawa, tutakuwa to update in case of any other challenge. Utakuwa unatusaidia. So this was Indian mguu yenye ilikuwa na shida hii.
Hii ndio yenye this one. The one nimeona kutoka hapa hivi. So hata nikijaribu kununua mguu and all the weight comes here. Chungu kabisa. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so pole sana and all the best. We are also praying for your recovery, and we are also happy that your voices are being loud, are coming out loud. You are fighting for us, both me and you, and we believe that what you people are doing is not in vanity. Thank you for coming out, and I believe that you're part of the change for this society. Home ni wapi?
Home ni Kisii.
Oh, home ni Kisii. Nyamache. Oh, when did you graduate?
2022.
Oh, 2022. So for the last 2 years hujapata kazi bado?
No.
Okay. And we believe someone have a job for Brenda. Akishapona Brenda apate kazi, si ndio? Yeah, and we will be very happy. So thank you very much, and may God bless all of us.